He was a man who owned skylines. She was a woman who polished glasses. When the wealthiest man in the room, Sheikh Zain al-Rahman, left a $50 billion mistake on her table, everyone saw it as a test of her honesty. But it wasn't. It was a trap, laid with surgical precision. But he never counted on her, the one woman in New York who could read the fine print. This is the story of the fake contract, the waitress who saw the trigger, and the one question that exposed everything. The Gilded Horn was not a restaurant, it was a theater. The plates were props, the servers were costumed actors, and the clientele were the audience, paying astronomical prices to watch each other be rich. And Anna Petrova, in her starched black apron, was just part of the scenery. She was also drowning. "Table 7, Anna. Move," hissed Mr. Collins, the restaurant's general manager. Collins was a man whose body had somehow inflated to match his ego, all cheap cologne and cheaper smiles. "Yes, Mr. Collins." Anna balanced the heavy silver tray, the muscles in her forearm burning. Table 7 was a quartet of tech bros celebrating an IPO, already loud and demanding. As she approached, one of them snapped his fingers. "Hey, waitress, more bread. And make it quick. We're talking millions here." Anna smiled the 1,000-watt smile that cost her $100 an hour in emotional energy. "Of course, sir. Right away." She retreated to the frenetic energy of the service station, her heart thumping a low, dull rhythm of anxiety. It wasn't the rude customer. It was the crumpled envelope in her apron pocket. It was from the hospital. "Final notice, $14,800. Services will be discontinued." Services. A clinical, cruel word for the experimental treatment that was keeping her mother, Myla, alive. "You look like you're about to cry into the bread basket, Petrova," a voice purred beside her. It was Chloe, another waitress. Chloe was all sharp angles, sharp cheekbones, sharp elbows, sharp tongue. She survived at the Horn by attaching herself, limpet-like, to the biggest spenders. "I'm fine, Chloe," Anna said, not looking up. "Sure you are? Hey, did you hear? Section C is closed tonight, all of it." Anna finally looked up. "What? On a Thursday? We're already overbooked." Chloe leaned in, her eyes gleaming with gossip. "It's him. The ghost. The one who bought the Holloway building last month." Anna frowned. The Holloway Group was a massive, realistic-sounding corporate entity, like any other faceless giant. But this man... Who? "Sheikh Zain al-Rahman," Chloe whispered, as if the name itself was expensive. "He's here, in the building. He booked the entire mezzanine. And they say," she tapped her temple, "he's deciding whether to buy the entire restaurant group." Collins is sweating through his shirt. Anna glanced at Collins, who was indeed pacing near the maitre d' stand, his face a sickly shade of grey. This was it. The big leagues. "Well," Anna said, grabbing the bread, "I hope he likes garlic." She spent the next hour in a blur. The tech bros were replaced by a silent, terrifyingly old money couple who dissected their fish with surgical precision. Through it all, the energy in the room was different, tense, expectant. At 9:45 p.m., the front doors opened, and the restaurant went quiet. It wasn't a loud entrance. It was a void. The noise of the city street seemed to be sucked out, replaced by a vacuum of pure, terrifying power. Mr. Collins rushed forward, bowing so low he almost toppled over. "Your Highness, Sheikh al-Rahman, welcome. Welcome to the Gilded Horn. We are honored." The man who entered was not what Anna expected. He wasn't old. He wasn't dripping in gold. He was young, perhaps mid-30s, dressed in a simple, impeccably tailored dark suit that probably cost more than Anna's car. He had a short, severe haircut, and eyes so dark they seemed to absorb the light in the room. He moved with a stillness that was more intimidating than any gesture. He was flanked by two men, clearly security, who scanned the room with bored, lethal efficiency. "My table," the sheikh said. His voice was quiet, a low baritone with a faint, unplaceable accent. "Yes, yes. Section C, as requested," Collins stammered, gesturing wildly. "I will be your personal server tonight." The sheikh looked at Collins. He didn't smile, he just looked. And under that silent, assessing gaze, Collins withered. "No," the sheikh said. He scanned the room, his eyes passing over Chloe, who was practically vibrating, past the bar, and landing, with an almost physical jolt, on Anna. She was standing frozen, holding a tray of dirty martini glasses. He pointed. "Her, she will serve." Collins's head snapped toward Anna, his face a mask of pure panic. "Her? The girl with the hospital bills? The one who wasn't a closer like Chloe?" "But Your Highness," Collins began, "Miss Petrova is a junior server. I am the general manager. Or perhaps Chloe. She is our finest. I don't repeat myself," the sheikh stated. "It wasn't a threat. It was a fact, like gravity." Collins swallowed. He grabbed Anna's arm, his fingers digging in. "Don't you dare mess this up, Petrova. Your job, my job, everything." Anna's heart was a hummingbird in her chest. All she could do was nod. She smoothed her apron, picked up a water carafe, and walked toward the man who owned the sky. Serving Sheikh Zain al-Rahman was like serving a panther. He was utterly still, observing everything. He ordered the simplest thing on the menu, a grilled steak, no sauce, and water. His two security men stood by the curtained entrance to Section C, unblinking. Anna operated on pure muscle memory. She poured the water without a tremor. She recited the specials she had memorized. She cleared plates with silent efficiency. He did not speak to her. He did not look at her. He simply ate, his focus absolute. Anna became fascinated, not by his wealth, but by his control. He was a man who had eliminated every wasted movement, every wasted word. As she brought the check, her hand did tremble, just slightly. The bill was $170, a pittance for him, a week's groceries for her. He placed a black credit card on the tray. Anna ran it. When she returned with the slip, he was signing it. He slid the tray back. Anna picked it up. Her heart stopped, then kicked into a painful gallop. The tip, $5,000. She stared at the number. It was a mistake. It had to be. He must have meant $50. "Sir," she whispered, her voice cracking. He looked up, his dark eyes locking on hers for the first time. "There seems to—" Anna swallowed, her throat sandpaper. "There seems to be a mistake on the tip, sir. You wrote 5,000. The corner of his mouth quirked, a fractional movement that was not a smile. "I am aware of what I wrote. Is there a problem?" "No, sir. It's just... It's my mother's medicine. It's rent. It's life." "It's extremely generous, sir. Thank you." "I am not generous," he said, standing. "I am precise. You were efficient." Efficient. He'd paid her $5,000 for being efficient. He and his men moved toward the exit. Collins was already there, holding the door, babbling about their honor. Anna was left alone in the curtained-off section, the sound of her own blood rushing in her ears. She looked at the $5,000 tip, a lifeline. Then her eyes fell to the floor. Under the table, where the sheikh had been sitting, was a briefcase. It wasn't a normal briefcase. It was thin, brushed aluminum, with a biometric fingerprint lock on the latch. It looked less like luggage and more like something that held nuclear launch codes. He had left it. He had left it. Panic, cold and sharp, flooded Orna's system. She scooped up the case. It was heavy. "Mr. Collins!" she hissed, running to the front. But Collins was fawning at the door, watching the Sheikh's black Maybach pull away from the curb. "Mr. Collins, he left." "Not now, Petrova!" Collins snapped, his good mood evaporating as he turned from the door. "Can't you see I'm busy? Go polish some silverware, and you're on clean-up tonight." "But he left his briefcase." Collins froze. He turned, his eyes zeroing in on the aluminum case in her hands. His gaze, which had been panicked, suddenly turned sharp, calculating. "Give it to me," he said, his voice low. I should call him, or his security. "Give it to me," Collins repeated, holding out his hand. "I am the manager. I will handle this. It's lost and found. Standard procedure." A cold dread settled over Anna. This was not standard procedure. This was the most powerful man in the city. You don't put his briefcase in lost and found next to a single mitten and a cheap umbrella. "But Mr. Collins, are you questioning my authority, Petrova?" he sneered. "After I let you serve him. After you clearly flustered him into leaving it. This is your fault. Now give it to me, or you're fired." The word fired echoed in Anna's head. Fired. No job. No $5,000 tip. No hospital. She looked at the briefcase. She looked at Collins. And then Chloe was there, sliding up next to Collins, her eyes wide. "Ooh, what's that? Did he leave it? I bet it's full of diamonds." "Shut up, Chloe," Collins snapped. He snatched the briefcase from Anna's hands. "Both of you back to work. I will secure this in my office." He turned and walked away, carrying the case. Anna watched him go, the $5,000 tip receipt suddenly feeling like a lead weight in her pocket. Something was wrong. Terribly wrong. She knew, with a certainty that chilled her to the bone, that Mr. Collins was not going to call the Sheikh. The rest of the night was agony. Anna cleaned the restaurant on autopilot, her mind replaying the snatch and grab by Collins. He had locked himself in his office, and the "Do Not Disturb" sign on his door was all too literal. Chloe naturally was loving the drama. $10 says Collins is trying to pick the lock, Chloe whispered, as she reapplied her lipstick at the wait station. "He can't," Anna murmured, wiping down the espresso machine. It was biometric. Ooh la la, biometric. Chloe snapped her compact shut. "Well, whatever. It's his problem now. You, though, $5,000. Collins is going to be furious you got that." Anna hadn't even processed the tip yet. It felt tainted, connected to the briefcase. It was a mistake. "There's no such thing as a mistake, sweetie," Chloe said. "Only opportunities, and you're too dumb to take them. Now, Collins, he's a rat, but he's a smart rat. He'll find a way to get a reward." Anna's shift ended at 2 a.m. Collins' office light was still on. She hesitated, her hand on the back door. She should just go home. Give the tip money to the hospital. Forget the briefcase. But $5,000. He called it precise. What if leaving the briefcase was also precise? What if this was the real test? Not the tip, but the case. A test of integrity she had just failed by handing it to Collins. She walked to his office and knocked softly. "Mr. Collins?" No answer. She knocked again, harder. "Mr. Collins, I'm leaving. Is there any update on the item?" The door whipped open. Collins stood there, his tie undone, his face flushed with sweat and cheap whiskey. His office smelled like a distillery. "I told you I was handling it," he roared. And then Anna saw it. Over his shoulder, on his desk, the briefcase was open. "How?" Anna whispered. "How did you open it?" Collins's eyes lit with a manic glee. Biometric. Fancy. But you know what? Technology is stupid. The latch mechanism, it's just a simple spring, A good, strong magnet and a paperclip. Pops right open. These idiots always overpay for security and forget the basics. He was proud of himself. He had broken into a guest's private property. "What's inside?" Anna asked, pushing past him. "Hey, get out!" But Anna was already staring. There were no diamonds, no gold bars, just documents, stacks and stacks of paper bound in leather. And on top, a single cover-paged document. Project Aegis, acquisition of Gilded Horn Holdings. "He's buying us," Anna breathed. "He's buying everything," Collins said, his voice greedy. He grabbed the top document. "This isn't just the restaurant. This is the whole block. The holding company, the real estate, the air rights. It's a $50 billion deal, Petrova." Billion. He was giddy, pacing the small office. "And this," he cackled, "this is where it gets good." He slammed the document down on the desk, his thick finger jabbing a specific clause. Section 4A. Property assets. "I've been reading it for an hour," he said, his voice dropping. "It's all here. Property lists, holding company names, bank transfers. He's moving $10 billion in liquid assets tonight to close the deal before the market opens in Zurich." "Mr. Collins, we have to return this," Anna said, her voice shaking. This is corporate espionage. We can't have this." "Shut up and listen," he snapped. "You think I'm stealing it? I'm saving it. For a price." "What are you talking about?" "This," he jabbed the page again, "the contract. It's a fake, or not fake, but flawed, fatally flawed." He pointed. Anna leaned in. Her eyes scanned the dense legal text. Her college associate's degree in paralegal studies, the one she'd abandoned when her mother got sick, kicked in. She was a quick study, and she had spent months reading dense medical and insurance contracts. "I don't see anything," she said. "You're not looking," he said, his breath hot on her face. "Look, the assets list. Lot 7B, that's the Gilded Horn. Lot 8C, that's the garage. But look, Lot 9A. The contract lists it as residential zoning Class R1. But it's not. It's commercial, Class C3. I know it is. That's where the old print shop is. The zoning difference alone is worth 9 figures." Anna looked closer. He was right. It was a glaring error. A multi-million-dollar typo. "It's a mistake," Anna said. "An expensive one." "Exactly," Collins breathed. "A mistake that will void the entire deal if it's challenged. He's about to pay $50 billion for a contract that's worthless. And I," he tapped his chest, "am the only one who knows. Besides you." He leaned in, his smile terrifying. "Imagine the reward, Anna, for finding such an error, for saving the Sheikh from this oversight, a consulting fee, a finder's fee. 1% of the difference? 10 million? 20 million? Anna recoiled. This wasn't honesty. This was extortion. "Or," Collins continued, his voice turning silky and dark, "imagine, we don't tell the Sheikh." "What?" "We tell the other guy, the man he's buying from, or a rival. Imagine what Silas Rourke would pay for this." Anna's blood ran cold. Silas Rourke, the vulture of Wall Street, a ruthless developer who was famously in a bitter rivalry with Ul Rahman. Leaking this wouldn't just be extortion. It would be sabotage. "Mr. Collins, that's criminal. It's business, Anna, and it's our ticket out. Yours and mine. Your mum. That treatment isn't cheap, is it? I see the collection calls. This is your miracle." He had dangled the one thing he knew she couldn't refuse. Her mother's life. Anna stared at the contract. The fake contract. The flawed contract. "What do you want me to do?" she whispered. "Nothing," he smiled, patting her cheek. "You just keep your mouth shut. Let me handle Mr. Rourke. I'll make sure you get your cut. You're a smart girl, Anna." As Anna walked out of the office and into the pre-dawn light of New York City, she felt sick. She had the $5,000 tip. She had the promise of millions. And she knew she was a pawn in a game so large she couldn't even see the board. The next 24 hours were the longest of Anna's life. She went home to her tiny fifth-floor walk-up. She looked in on her mother, asleep in the hospital bed that dominated their small living room, an IV drip quietly beeping out a rhythm of rented time. Mila Petrova stirred, her skin pale and papery. "Anna, is that you, Moya Zoria, my star?" "It's me, Mama," Anna whispered, kissing her forehead. "Go back to sleep. The man called about the bill. I'll handle it, Mama. I promise. I got a big tip tonight. Everything is going to be fine." But as she said it, the lie tasted like ash. She couldn't sleep. She sat at her small kitchen table, the hospital notice on one side, the $5,000 in cash, which she'd gotten from the 24-hour cashier at the restaurant, on the other. It was a fortune. It was nothing. Collins was going to call Silas Rourke. He was going to use that flaw in the contract. But something didn't add up. A man like Zain al-Rahman, a man precise. Would he make a zoning error? Would his team of multi-thousand-dollar-an-hour lawyers make a typo worth $100 million? It was possible, but improbable. What if the flaw wasn't a flaw? What if it was bait? Anna's mind flashed back to her paralegal studies. Contingency clauses, intentional ambiguity, poison pills. What if the briefcase wasn't left by accident? What if the tip wasn't a reward? What if the biometric lock that Collins was so proud of breaking was designed to be broken by a simple magnet? What if the entire night was a test? Not a test of her, but a test of the restaurant, a test of its staff, a test to see who in this gilded cage was a rat. And Mr. Collins had just taken the cheese. If she was right, Collins wasn't walking into a $10 million payday. He was walking into a trap, and he was dragging her with him. She had to warn him. Not for his sake, but for hers. She raced back to the restaurant, arriving just as the morning prep crew was clocking in. She ran to Collins' office. He was already there, freshly showered, wearing a new, garish silk tie. He was on the phone, his voice low and excited. "That's right, Mr. Rourke's assistant. I have something your boss will find very interesting regarding Project Aegis." "Yes, I'll hold." "Mr. Collins, hang up!" Anna burst in. Collins slammed his hand over the receiver, his face purple. "Are you insane, Petrova? Get out! It's a trap! Don't you see?" Anna pleaded, her voice a desperate whisper. "The contract! The error! It's bait! He wanted someone to find it. He's testing the staff before he buys the company." Collins stared at her. Then he laughed, a short, ugly bark. "A trap? You've been watching too many movies, sweetheart. This isn't a movie. This is a multi-million-dollar F-up, and I'm cashing in. Now get out. You're making me look bad. He'll know you leaked it. He'll ruin you. He'll never know it was me," Collins hissed. "I'm using a burner phone. I'm meeting a go-between. I'm smart. Unlike you, who's about to throw away millions for... What? Honesty? Honesty doesn't pay the bills, Anna. Now, are you with me or against me?" "Yes, hello. I'm still here." He spoke back into the phone. "Put me through. Tell him I have the key to Lot 9A. He smiled at Anna, a cold, dead smile. "Last chance, Petrova. In or out?" Anna looked at the man, so consumed by greed he was blind. She looked at the stolen contract on his desk. "Out," she said. "Fine. You're fired. Get your things." What? "You're fired. You're a liability. You know too much. Now get out of my restaurant. You can't. I just did. He turned his back to her, all his attention on the phone. Yes, Mr. Rourke. I believe we can be mutually beneficial. Anna stumbled out of the office, the world tilting. Fired. She had no job, no $5,000 tip. It was still sitting on her table at home. No way to stop this. She was standing by the employee lockers, her hands shaking so hard she couldn't unbutton her coat, when Chloe sauntered in. Wow, Petrova, you look even worse than usual. Collins finally axe you? He fired me. Shocking, Chloe said, checking her reflection in a pocket mirror. Well, can't say I'm surprised. You were always too mopey for this place. Anyway, I'm taking your section tonight. And, she grinned, your little Sheikh admirer is back. Anna's head snapped up. What? Yep, his security team is already here, sweeping the mezzanine again. Seems he's having dinner. Again. Funny, I thought he was buying the place. Guess he's just particular. He was back. He was here. Collins was in his office, selling the floor to Rourke. The Sheikh was upstairs, waiting. The trap was set. And Anna Petrova, with nothing left to lose, finally understood. She wasn't a pawn. She was the only person on the board who knew the whole truth. She looked at Chloe. Where's the briefcase? Collins has it. He's probably going to try and sell it back to him. No, Anna said, her voice hardening. He's not. She walked back to Collins's office. He was off the phone, grabbing his coat. I told you, you're fired. Give me the briefcase, Anna demanded. What? The briefcase and the contract. Give them to me, now. I'll do no such thing. That's my leverage. It's not leverage, it's a bomb. And the timer just hit 0. He's here. The Sheikh is upstairs. Collins's face went white. Here? Now? You're not smart, Mr. Collins. You're just a greedy, stupid man. And you're about to get crushed, but I'm not going down with you. She saw the briefcase on his desk. She grabbed it. Hey! He lunged for it. Anna was faster. She had years of dodging drunken customers on her side. She sidestepped him, grabbed the Project Aegis's document, and sprinted out of the office. Petrova, stop! He yelled, chasing her. Anna ran through the main dining room, past the stunned prep crew. She didn't take the service stairs. She took the grand, sweeping central staircase, 2 steps at a time. Stop her! Collins screamed. 2 of the Sheikh's security guards, the same ones from last night, were at the top of the stairs. They saw her, a wild-eyed waitress in a street coat, clutching a high-tech briefcase, and they moved to intercept. Ma'am, you cannot. He's expecting me, Anna panted, not slowing down. Tell him I have his flawed contract. Tell him Anna Petrova is here to talk about Lot 9A. The guard's eyes widened. One touched his earpiece. Collins was halfway up the stairs, huffing. Grab her! She's a thief! She stole that! The first guard put a hand on his chest, stopping him cold. Stay where you are, sir. The second guard looked at Anna. He nodded once, then stepped aside. Anna Petrova, unemployed waitress, walked past the most expensive security in the world and into the lion's den. Anna's out, echoed in the office. Fine, you're fired, Collins sneered. Get your things. What? You're fired. You're a liability. You know too much. Now get out of my restaurant. He turned his back to her, all his attention on the phone. Yes, Mr. Rourke, I believe we can be mutually beneficial. Anna stumbled out of the office, the world tilting, fired. She had no job, no way to stop this. Collins was going to sell the info, and she would be implicated. She was an accessory. She went to her locker, her hands shaking. Think, Anna, think. A trap. It had to be a trap. And Collins was the rat. But if she warned the Sheikh, what then? She'd be admitting to being part of it. If she did nothing, Collins would sell the secret, and Rourke would torpedo the deal. And then there was the third, terrifying possibility. Collins was right. It was a simple, arrogant mistake. And by warning the Sheikh, she'd be insulting his intelligence. She had to know. She went home, the word fired ringing in her ears. She looked at her sleeping mother, the $5,000 in cash on the table. This money, it was the first test, the one she'd almost passed. I am not generous, I am precise. He hadn't been testing her honesty, he'd been testing her need. He'd seen her desperation. He'd given her $5,000 to see if it would buy her silence or her loyalty. And then he'd left the briefcase for the next level of test. One for the greedy. Anna made a decision. She wasn't just a waitress. She was Mila Petrova's daughter. She was smarter than this. She left the cash on the table. She put on her only other clean blouse. She took the crumpled hospital notice from her apron pocket and smoothed it out. She had no job. She had nothing to lose. She walked out of her apartment and took the subway to the one place she knew she could find him. The address for his holding company wasn't in the contract, but the law firm that drafted it was. She found a small, discreet office in Midtown with a simple brass plaque, HPG Advisory. She walked in. The receptionist looked up, her expression one of polite disdain. "Can I help you?" "I'm here to see Sheikh al-Rahman," Anna said. The receptionist's smile was glacial. "I'm afraid he doesn't take walk-ins." "Do you have a representative?" "No," Anna said. "But he has my final notice." "Tell him," Anna slid the hospital bill across the desk, "that Anna Petrova is here, and I know about Lot 9A. The receptionist's eyes flicked to the bill, then to Anna's face. The smile vanished. She picked up her phone. "One moment." She spoke in a low, rapid voice. 2 minutes later, one of the security guards from the restaurant, the same lethal, bored one, emerged from a back hallway. He looked at Anna, not with surprise, but with recognition. "Miss Petrova, he has been expecting you." "Expecting me?" "His Highness does not like loose ends. This way." Anna's blood ran cold. "Expecting me?" This was not a test. This was a summons. She was led not through the office, but through a private elevator, down to a garage. A black, armored sedan was waiting. She got in. The car moved silently through the city. They didn't go to a bank. They didn't go to an office tower. They pulled up to the grand, Gilded Age entrance of the St. Regis Hotel. The doormen, seeing the car, rushed to open the doors. "He is in the presidential suite. He will join you shortly," the guard said, leading her into the most opulent room Anna had ever seen. It was larger than her entire apartment building. A grand piano sat in one corner. A wall of glass overlooked Central Park, and on the massive mahogany table in the center of the room was the briefcase. Open. The Project Aegis contract was splayed out, a single page highlighted. Section 4A. She was not the first one to be tested. A door opened. Sheikh Zain al-Rahman walked in. He was no longer in a suit. He wore simple linen pants and a soft, dark shirt. He looked casual, and 1,000 times more dangerous. "Miss Petrova," he said. His voice was as quiet as it was in the restaurant. "Please, sit. Would you care for some tea?" No, thank you," Anna stammered. "Sir, I need to tell you." "I know," he said. He gestured to the open briefcase. "I know about Mr. Collins. I know about his phone call to Silas Rourke's office an hour ago. I know he tried to sell the floor. And I know that he fired you." Anna's world spun. You knew? It was a trap. It was a diagnostic, Miss Petrova. A simple stress test. When you are buying a company, you must know if its foundation is sound, or if it is infested with Rats. He walked to the window, looking out over the park. I overpaid for the restaurant last night. I left a $5,000 mistake to see who would be honest. You were. Then I forgot a briefcase with a lock that a child could break, containing a contract with a flaw so obvious a first-year law student could see it. The zoning error, Anna breathed. Yes, he said. Mr. Collins took the bait, as I knew he would. We had been monitoring him for a month. His call to Rourke was simply the last piece of evidence we needed. So, Anna was confused. It's over? You caught him. Why am I here? Ah! Zane turned, and his dark eyes were unreadable. This is the part I did not anticipate. You see, I have the audio recording of Collins' office. I heard your entire conversation. He stepped closer. I heard him fire you. I heard him offer you a cut. I heard you refuse. It was wrong, Anna whispered. People do wrong things for the right reasons every day, Miss Petrova. Your mother, Myla, her condition, the 14,800. I know all about it. I assumed, given your desperation, you would take the money. You would be complicit. At the very least, silent. But you were not. You came back. You tried to warn him. You called it a trap. And then, he tilted his head, you were fired, and you came here. You bypassed my receptionist with a hospital bill. Why? This was it. The moment. All the power in the world was standing 5 feet in front of her. Because you made a mistake, Anna said, her voice shaking but finding its strength. Zane's eyebrows rose. I made a mistake. I just told you the entire scenario was a diagnostic. Not that mistake. Anna took a breath. Your real mistake. The one you don't know about. The one Collins was too stupid to see. Zane was perfectly still. The air in the room crackled. Go on. The zoning error. Lot 9A. That was the bait. It was obvious. A big flashing red light. But I kept reading. She walked to the table, her hands tracing the legal document. I kept reading, Mr. Al-Rahman. All night. Because I was a paralegal student. Because I read my mother's insurance denials for fun. I read the whole contract. And, his voice was a whip crack, this was it, the precipice. And I have one question. She looked up, meeting his piercing gaze. Anna's heart was a drum against her ribs, but her voice was steady. She was no longer a waitress. She was a woman holding the single most expensive secret in New York. The contract, Mr. Al-Rahman, she said, her finger tracing the text, is a work of art. It's a hostile takeover disguised as a simple acquisition. You're using 3 different shell corporations, routing the funds through a bank in Luxembourg to mask the purchase until it's complete. It's brilliant. Zane's expression was unreadable, carved from stone. You are perceptive for a waitress. I'm perceptive for a human, Anna countered, a new fire rising in her. And I saw the bait, the Lot 9A zoning error, the one you set for Mr. Collins. It's clever. It's the error a low-level, greedy manager would find. It's about property, something he understands. Your point, Miss Petrova. My point, she said, tapping the document, is that you put your bait right next to your real mistake. The one you don't even know is in here. The one Mr. Collins would never see. But Silas Rourke's legal team, they would. The stillness in the room became absolute. The only sound was the distant hum of traffic, far below. What? Zane said. Did you find? It's not a zoning error. It's in the liabilities clause, section 11b, subsection Kreise. Anna didn't need to look. She had memorized it. You're acquiring Gilded Horn Holdings. But that's a parent company. It owns the restaurant, the building, and, she locked her eyes on his, the Gilded Horn Employee Pension Fund. a fund that, according to this contract, is currently under administrative review by the state of New York. Zane's face was blank. Go on. I checked the public records this morning. Administrative review is a nice way of saying under federal investigation. The fund is short, Mr. Al-Rahman. It's not just short. It's empty. Collins or someone higher up has been embezzling from the staff pension for years. It's a $75 million hole. Anna took a breath. According to the way this contract is written, the moment you sign, you assume 100% of that liability. The feds will be at your door. Silas Rourke won't have to sabotage your deal. He'll just have to call the SEC and watch you get buried in a scandal. Zain al-Rahman stared at her. The silence stretched. 1 second, 10 seconds, a minute. He had set a trap for a rat and had nearly been caught in a bear trap himself. Finally, he spoke. My legal team, a dozen lawyers, from the most expensive firm in New York, missed this. They were looking for Mr. Rourke's attacks, Anna said. They weren't looking for a desperate manager who's been stealing from his bus boys. You were looking at the skyline, but the rot was in the basement. Zain turned away, walking to the great glass window. He looked down at the city he was trying to buy. You could have gone to Rourke, he said, his back to her. This information would have been worth 100 times what Collins offered. He would have made you a queen. I don't want to be a queen, Anna said, her voice quiet. I just want to pay for my mother's medicine. So you came to me. To warn me? To sell me the information yourself? Anna felt a flush of anger. No, I came here. I came here because you were precise. And this, she tapped the contract, wasn't. It was sloppy. And it was going to hurt people. Not just you, but all the other staff. The cooks, the dishwashers. Their pensions are gone. You were going to let Mr. Collins take the fall for the zoning error. But this is the real crime. She paused, the final piece clicking into place. That's it, isn't it? She whispered. That's why he was so eager to sell the floor. Mr. Collins. He knew about the pension. He was probably the one doing the embezzling. He was trying to create a diversion, get a big payout from Rourke, and disappear before this, she tapped Section 11B, was ever discovered. Zain turned around. His face was no longer blank. It was impressed. You, he said, are not a waitress. I am today, Anna said, and I was fired, which brings me to my question. All the pretense fell away, all the fear, all the strategy. You're a man who tests for rot. You just found it. You're a man who buys assets. You're about to buy a $75 million liability. The man who created that liability, Mr. Collins, is currently on his way to meet a man from Rourke's office, thinking he's a genius. She stepped forward. My one question, Sheikh Al-Rahman, is this. She paused, holding the gaze of the most powerful man she had ever met. Now that I've saved you from the trap you didn't know you were in, what are you going to do about the one I'm in? It hung in the air. The perfect, simple, devastating question. It wasn't about the contract. It wasn't about the money. It was about them. Zain al-Rahman was silent for a long time. Then a slow, genuine, terrifying smile spread across his face. Miss Petrova, he said, you've done more than save me from a liability. You've just exposed everything, the rot in the company, the true nature of my rival, and the incompetence of my own legal team. He walked to his desk and picked up the phone. Darius, he said, to the guard outside. Get Mr. Casson from HPG on the line. Tell him he's fired. He hung up. And you, he said, looking at Anna. You're hired. Anna stared. Hired? Hired as what? A waitress? No, Zain said. I have enough waitresses. What I don't have is a truth teller. I am surrounded by men who tell me what I want to hear, who are paid to find the flaws in my enemies. I need someone who is paid to find the flaws in me. He gestured to the plush chairs. Sit. This time I insist. Anna sat, her legs feeling like water. He poured 2 glasses of water himself. Your question was perfect, he said, handing her a glass. It was not a plea. It was not a threat. It was a transaction. I have given you this. What will you give me? I just need my job back, Anna stammered. And the $5,000. I can't accept it. It was part of the test. The $5,000 was a filter, he corrected. It was designed to flush out the very desperate. You passed. But your question is, what about the trap you are in? Let us define the trap. I was fired, Anna said. My mother is sick. The bills are paid, he said simply. Anna blinked. What? As of an hour ago, the moment you used the hospital bill to get past my receptionist, I had my team clear your mother's entire medical debt. And, he added, I have had her transferred to a private suite at Mount Sinai, where my personal physician will be overseeing her case. Anna's glass trembled. A tear she hadn't known was there rolled down her cheek. You... why? I am precise, Miss Petrova. Not generous. Your mother's health was your leverage. It was your weakness. Now, it is no longer on the table. We are free to negotiate as equals. Anna put the glass down, her mind reeling. He had, in one phone call, removed the single biggest motivation in her life. She was untethered. What do you want? She asked. I want you to work for me. At HPG Advisory. The position, he smiled, is Executive Auditor of Reality. Or Chief of Fine Print. We will work on the title. I'm not qualified. I'm a waitress with half a paralegal degree. You are the only person in this city who found a $75 million bomb that my entire team of qualified people missed. You are, quite possibly, the most qualified person I have ever met. He leaned forward. Let's talk about Mr. Collins. He is, as you noted, on his way to meet Mr. Rourke's associate. This is excellent. My security team will be observing, as will the SEC. Mr. Collins's belief that he is a smart rat is about to be disproven. And the pension fund, the staff, is now my problem, a $75 million problem. But it is also an opportunity. I will not just acquire Gilded Horn Holdings. I will save it. I will make the pension fund whole out of my own pocket. And the press will be informed. Sheikh Al-Rahman saves workers' pensions from corrupt management. It's a much better headline than Billionaire Fails to Read Contract. He saw it all as angles, as power. But first, he said, we must amend the contract. He walked to his desk and pulled out a new document, a real one. This is an employment contract, he said. For you. Anna took it. Her hands were shaking again, but for a different reason. She started to read. The salary. She had to read it 3 times. It wasn't a salary. It was a phone number. This is too much, she whispered. It is 10% of the liability you saved me from, Zain said. Consider it your first year's consulting fee. Plus, of course, a full benefits package, which will cover all future medical for your mother. For life. Anna kept reading. The clauses were dense, but she read every one. Hours of work, travel, non-disclosure. And then she stopped. She looked up at him. This is a fake. Zain's smile faltered. I assure you, It is very real." "No," Anna said, tapping the page. "It's fake. A test contract, just like the other one." "What are you talking about?" Anna's voice was firm now. She wasn't scared. She was amused. "You're testing me again. Right now. To see if I'd just sign. To see if the money and the promise of my mother's health would blind me." She pointed to the page. Section 5. Key Person Clause. It states that I, as a key person, am liable for any and all advisory failures in perpetuity. If I give you bad advice and a deal goes south, I'm liable. You could sue me for billions. You're offering me a fortune, but you're putting a financial guillotine over my head. Zain al-Rahman, the man who owned Skylines, had the decency to look stunned. He stared at the contract. He stared at Anna. And then he threw his head back and laughed. It was not a quiet, controlled sound. It was a deep, genuine, booming laugh that filled the entire suite. "Darius!" he yelled. The guard appeared. "Sir? Get Mr. Casson back on the phone." "But sir, you fired him." "I know. Get him on the phone. Tell him he is UN fired. And then tell him he is demoted. Because a waitress, just found a poison pill in my own contract to her." He was beaming. He looked at Anna, his eyes bright with a dangerous, thrilling light. "Twice," he said. "Twice in one day. You have saved me from my own blind spots. First, from my enemies. Second, from myself." He took the contract from her hand, and with a flourish tore it in half. "We will draw up a new one," he said. "A real one, you and I, together." "And Mr. Collins?" Anna asked. "Oh," Zane's smile turned cold. "Mr. Collins is about to have a very, very bad day. Which brings me to your first assignment." The Gilded Horn was prepping for dinner service. The energy was off. Collins was missing. Chloe was preening, telling everyone she was interim manager until a replacement was found. "It's about time," she was saying at the service bar. Collins was old news. This place needs a new energy. Someone who understands the clientele. The front doors opened. The entire staff froze. Sheikh Zain al-Rahman entered. He was not in a suit. He was in his casual, powerful attire. But he was not alone. At his side, wearing a sharply tailored dark blue dress that screamed boardroom, was Anna Petrova. Her hair was pulled back in a severe, elegant bun. Her face was calm, confident, and utterly terrifying. "Chloe, isn't it?" Anna said. Her voice was the same, but the power behind it was new. "You're in my section." Chloe's jaw dropped. "Anna? What are you wearing? What's going on?" "Mr. Collins," Anna announced to the room, "has been terminated. His employment and his pension are under review by the federal government." Gasps. "As of 9 a.m. this morning," Anna continued, "HPG Advisory, on behalf of Sheikh al-Rahman, has taken a controlling interest in Gilded Horn Holdings." She walked through the room, the same room she used to polish. Zain stood by the door, watching, a small, proud smile on his face. "There will be changes," Anna said. "First, the Gilded Horn Employee Pension Fund, which Mr. Collins and his associates have treated as their personal bank account, has been made whole, effective immediately." A wave of relief so profound it was audible swept the room. The busboys, the cooks, the old-timer bartenders, they looked like they were going to weep. "Second," Anna said, "my new employer believes in rewarding loyalty and exposing disloyalty." She looked right at Chloe. "Chloe, you've been serving Mr. Collins in more ways than one. You've been his eyes, his ears, and his accomplice. You've been feeding him information on which tables tipped what, so he could adjust the credit card totals. You've been taking a cut. Chloe's face went from pale to ghostly. I don't know what you're talking about. You don't? Anna said. Then you won't mind explaining this. She held up a small audio recorder. On it, Chloe's voice from that morning. Collins finally axed you? Well, can't say I'm surprised. I'm taking your section tonight. And this, Anna said, holding up a phone. The texts, between you and Collins. About me. About the big tip. About another dumb waitress. You can't, Chloe sputtered. You're fired, Chloe, Anna said, her voice like ice. Get your things. Security will escort you out. The two guards from the hotel stepped forward. Chloe, for the first time in her life, was speechless. She was marched out, defeated. Anna turned to the rest of the staff. My name is Anna Petrova, and I am the new executive auditor for this company, which means the rot is out. From now on, things will be precise, clean, honest. She looked at the head chef. Your kitchen is now yours again. The menu is yours. She looked at the bar. The tips are yours. All of them. She had, in 5 minutes, completely and totally reversed her status. That night, Anna did not go home to her walk-up. She went to her mother's new private room at Mount Sinai. Mila was awake, sitting up, looking 10 years younger. Anna, moja Zoria, she cried, holding out her arms. The doctors, the room, they say a prince, a sheikh, did this. Anna hugged her mother, breathing in the smell of clean hospital sheets and actual hope. He's not a prince, Mama, Anna whispered. He's a client. She sat with her mother as the sun set over the city. She had a new job, a new life, and a new, terrifyingly complex boss. The fake contract had, indeed, exposed everything. It had exposed the rot in the company. It had exposed the arrogance of her boss. It had exposed the desperation of her co-worker. But most of all, it had exposed the one thing Anna Petrova had kept hidden, even from herself. A brilliant, ruthless mind, perfectly suited for the gilded age she had, until now, only been serving. She had read the fine print, and in it she had found her own name. What did you think of Anna's story? She thought she was just a waitress, but she had the heart of a CEO and the mind of a detective. It just goes to show that your current job doesn't define your true worth or your true skill. Sometimes the person who's overlooked, the person in the background, is the only one who can see the full picture. Anna didn't just expose a fake contract, she exposed a real crime and, in the process, found her real self. If you love stories where the underdog turns the tables and delivers some serious karma, smash that like button. It really helps the channel. What was your favorite part? The one question or the moment she came back and fired Chloe? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to hear more stories like this, don't forget to share this video and subscribe to the channel. We post new dramatic stories every single week, and you don't want to miss what happens next. Thank you for listening.